You are listening to Fantha Tracks.
Because of the following special program, Wonder Woman and the Incredible Hulk will not be presented this evening.
It's time to get all your Star Wars news in a single file.
That doesn't sound too hard.
Boom! This is Making Tracks.
This is the way.
Here are your hosts, Mark Newbold and Mark Mulcaster.
I know these people. They are brutal. Does this look Jedi to you?
That's not how the Force works.
They'll never see it coming.
Count me in.
Mr. Back!
You're listening to Making Tracks and a very special episode as we return to Blackburn Football Club for Star Wars Fan Fun Day 2026. Fantha Tracks were thrilled to be invited once again to attend the show, and as always it was a wonderful, wonderful weekend. First off, Alex Waldmann. Alex played Lieutenant Krole in 2 episodes of Andor Season 2. He was stationed on Mina Rao and is infamous for assaulting and attacking Bix Kaleen. So here's myself and Alex talking about that and much, much more. I'm here with Alex. How are you? Are you enjoying the show?
I'm having a great time. This is my first one of these.
Right.
Andor came out a year ago, my series, second series, but I've been kind of busy, but I can't believe I've been missing out on all of these. So this is my first one.
Being busy is great. But yeah, you are missing out. I mean, this is such a great show. We've been talking to some of the guys, and it's such a family-friendly show. You've kind of been spoilt for your first show.
I was going to say, I can't imagine that they're all like this. But the fact that the combination of the charity aspect of this, sort of everyone that's come says it's their favourite. They're so relaxed. They actually get a chance to sort of speak to people. They're not sort of rushed. And I've loved meeting the sort of families and the people where it's a real shared interest between couples and amongst families. So I've had a lovely time.
That's brilliant. That's good to hear. Very good to hear. When you got the role, were you a Star Wars fan before the role came to you?
Yeah, I would say I describe myself as a Star Wars fan rather than like a sort of fanatic. I obviously as a kid loved the original trilogy, and then it's a kind of rite of passage that I ended up watching them with my eldest child and then watched them again with my second child. Yeah. So it was, and I'd seen the sequels and I'd seen the prequels, but I hadn't watched some of the offshoots. So I'd say I was a fan, but I didn't quite realise how much of a fan I was till my very first shot, which was when a sort of Imperial transporter coming over a hill when we were filming in Oxfordshire with 2 stormtroopers, and I just thought it doesn't get better than this.
That's very cool that you say that. That it almost caught you off guard.
Yeah, I mean you don't realise how much of a dream it is until you actually get to do it, and the fact that you're getting paid to do that was just a real treat, and it was the most fun I've ever had on a set, despite the subject matter.
Yeah.
It was, and all the money and the time, it was the most extraordinary crew that have so much love. They're all fans themselves, so they want to make it as good as possible. So it was a real pleasure to be involved in it.
It was a hefty scene. It was a hefty character. How do you approach that? Because as you've just said, you're a fan but not a fanatic, but clearly you understand the tone of Star Wars, the timbre of Star Wars. This is very, very different. So how did you approach that as an actor?
Well, I think I knew when you only know about your kind of your scenes. You don't get to read the rest of the script. Sure. It's all very secretive. But I kind of had a sense when I got sent that the first scene when they meet, of where it was going to go.
Yeah.
And then I think you also, as a kind of, when you're appearing as a guest on a show like that and not you're supporting Bix's storyline, that you feel, my main thing is feeling responsible to make sure that the Adria was feeling safe, was feeling secure, that she could tell the best story that she wanted to, and that you're also looking after her as an actor, because it was very involved. We were really lucky to work with an amazing fight choreography team and stunt team, so we spent a week choreographing the fight, and then to make sure it was as safe but to look as dangerous as possible. That's the trick.
You nailed it.
I was so pleased, and it's the first thing I've ever done where we got to watch it back at the screening in the IMAX, and I was like, it was everything I'd hoped it would be, and I was sort of really pleased at how much reaction that storyline did get.
Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith, a Star Wars fan, Fantha Tracks fan.
The fandom was talking about it, obviously, because it's a different kind of subject matter for Star Wars, but very in keeping with the tone of what those guys would do, how easy they would feel to do these kind of things.
Yeah, I think that's why maybe they asked me to, and I was lucky enough to do it, because I probably on the outside look quite friendly.
Yeah,
and I think that's
totally.
that's the sort of more scary face of power, is that people that pretend that they're your friend, that look harmless, are often the most dangerous.
Yeah.
The abuse of power can take all kinds of forms, and you don't know quite when it's going to rear its ugly head. So yeah, it was a lot of fun to do.
I'm just thinking as we're talking, it must be interesting. I'm looking at the character right there and thinking, for you as an actor coming in, you get that role, you realise where it's going, and you kind of know pretty quickly there's only one way this can end for it to be satisfied.
Yeah.
I guess any actor would love to think, I'd love to come back in the next series of this. I'd love to. I guess your mission was not that at all. Your mission was to make sure this dirtbag goes out.
And goes out, and I think that people, even today, the number of people said, I really wanted to smash his face in.
Yeah.
And you think, quite right, and he gets everything that he's got coming to him and then some. So it was. I think it must have been very satisfying for someone with that punchable a face to get his face well and truly punched in. And I think that there should be. I was saying earlier that there should be some. If they do make a figurine, I think people will have a lot of fun smashing the hell out of that figurine. A stress toy,
Stress toys,
I think there's a lot of future in that. But yeah, I think knowing that you've just got that and it's got to make an impact, but you're not going to get asked to come back.
No.
But although people at the time, it was very interesting because I'd never read about it, but people saying that there was a similarity to some of the mannerisms of a young Palpatine.
Right.
That was some of the comments I was getting sent. But I think now I've done my bit in the Star Wars universe. I think that's going to be it.
There's plenty of masked characters.
Yeah.
There's always that.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I'm not. Maybe. But yeah, it was a real privilege to be part of it, and I'm glad it's made an impact.
And what have you got going on now? What's going on?
I've just finished a play in London, an Arthur Miller play, the Young Vic Theatre. So I don't know yet. It would be lovely to do something that is as brilliant as Star Wars, but they don't come around that often.
They don't. Well, thanks for your time.
Thanks.
Really appreciate it.
Lovely to meet you. Thank you.
Next, Rosalind Halstead. Rosalind played Runai Sculdun in 6 episodes of Andor in Season 1 and Season 2. Runai was Davos Sculdun's wife. And here's myself and Rosalind talking all about that. So I'm here at Star Wars Fan Fun Day. We're at Blackburn Football Club. The pitch has been dug up mostly at the moment. I'm here with Rosalind. How's the show been for you?
Oh, absolutely incredible. I feel absolutely honoured to be a part of it, I must say, yeah.
Do you do many shows?
Did I do many on this?
Yeah, no. Conventions, have you done many conventions?
This is my first one.
Oh, even better. Brilliant.
Yeah.
So what do you make of it? Because it's loads of fans and very warm and welcoming at this show. Lots of families.
Yeah.
You enjoyed it?
I've loved it. The kids are great. Yeah, everyone's just so friendly. And of course, because they love the show so much. It's just such a pleasure because so often you don't really get that feedback on, when you do a project. And so you just it goes out there and unless you read all the reviews and things like that. But it's nice to have people in person who are actually excited. Yeah, it's lovely.
Is that something that an actor doesn't get that often? I mean, this Brian Herring's over there, and Brian's been in and around Star Wars for 10, 12 years, and he's a fan. So he kind of gets the vibe of it and that flow of it.
Yeah.
For most actors like yourself, do you not always get that immediate kind of feedback?
Well, this is, like I said, it's the first show I've done. So, and it's just... you do get it on, but you get it on paper.
Yeah.
You don't get it in person. If
that makes sense.
I mean, because you get, people do send things and they're very appreciative, and if they've seen something that they like, and that's always lovely. But person to person, it's just not something you get in relation to a show particularly. So it's lovely.
That's good. I'm glad you've enjoyed it. I really am. So the show, how did this role come to you? And were you a Star Wars fan, or were you knowledgeable of Star Wars at all before you got it?
No.
Okay, that's cool.
Never seen a single Star Wars before.
Wow.
Before I did it.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just. You obviously you're aware. One is aware of them. But I hadn't actually seen one. So for me, this has just been I've just been birthed into a wonderful new world, basically.
Oh, what do you make of it? Because you've got all this stuff. There's all these toys around. There's all this merch that's like decades old. Some of it, and you're relatively new in coming into
Absolutely.
it. What did you make of that for an actor? That must be. What do we do with this?
It's interesting because you suddenly realise quite how big the franchise is, and then it's such a lovely feeling to then sort of realise quite how lucky you are to be a part of it, and to be part of something that clearly means so much to so many people, and that's a treat, that's a joy. This is people really treasure this stuff.
Yeah.
It's thanks, guys.
What did you make of your character? I mean, she's in a complicated position, being who she's married to, the whole scenario. So what did you kind of make of her as it all progressed?
How do you mean? Sorry.
Just as a character, she's in this unique sort of. She's in this elevated world.
Yeah.
All this stuff's happening, not even around them to a degree. It's happening sort of beneath them.
Yeah, exactly.
And she sort of dislocates a little bit from Davo and sort of ends up where she ends up.
Yeah.
How did you sort of play that? How did you feel about her as a character?
Well, the thing about it is that we Richard and I described them as sort of like new money, as it were. But also just this beautiful thing of her. It's like she doesn't care about anything. It's not because she's rude or anything. She's just nothing matters to her because they're so comfortable, with what they've got and things like that.
Yeah.
So there's no. It's playing slightly aloof to the world of it all, and that was the joy. That was good fun. Yeah, because I was just running around being silly.
Who doesn't like doing that?
Exactly.
And so you're working with there's visual effects going on. There's all these like heavyweight actors around and heavyweight crew around. That must be really an interesting thing to be just around as an actor, to know that when it's go time, you've just got to find that moment and find that character.
Yeah, it's certainly on a scale. It's on a. I've worked on some big projects, some sort of big scale projects, just in the size of them. But nothing prepares you for this. Nothing. The number of people involved to make this what it is, and now you understand why.
Absolutely.
Blessed. Yeah.
What's next for you? What's coming up next?
I've just done a couple of films, one in Luxembourg and one here, and I'm just about to do one in Paris. So yeah.
Oh, very nice.
It's been busy. It's been all right.
Busy is good.
Busy is good.
Well, I'm glad you gave us a few minutes. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me. Thanks.
Take care.
You too.
Next, Jonjo O'Neill. Jonjo played Captain Kaido in Season 2 of Star Wars Andor. He was instrumental in starting the Gorman Massacre. So here's myself and Jonjo talking at Blackburn Football Club.
Hello.
Right. Hello.
I like your shirt.
Thank you very much.
I've been admiring it.
Yeah?
From afar.
There's plenty going on. This is good for podcasting, isn't it?
Yeah, great.
It's our Fantha shirt.
It's kind of very much looks like a darts shirt.
It's like a darts shirt. It's like a bowling shirt. I used to play darts. I've got the build for darts. How are you enjoying the show? Do you get to many shows? That's a first question.
I've only done a few of these, and the ones I've done have been Star Wars specific shows, so I don't know what other ones are like, but it's great that everyone's here kind of, for the same thing. And lots of different types of fans.
Yes. That's fair to say.
That's what really strikes me. People are into different things.
Yeah.
And if they're into it, they're into it,
As an actor then, when you get to talk to somebody and they're deeply into it, and you get a sense when someone's really digging something.
Yeah.
How do you feel, explaining yourself, explaining what you did as Captain Kaido and sort of laying it out? Is it a bit strange to explain the process sometimes?
It's a bit strange, but I'm trying to guess also what people are interested in, which might not be my behind-the-curtain interest, which is... but I enjoy it. I remember, I was looking here at the photographs on the desk in front of me, one which has my kind of ranking explained, and someone was able to go into huge depth about that.
That's the thing about Star Wars. There's so many nooks and crannies that people will have a knowledge about that, well, you've got a blue bit and a red bit because blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Is that Navy and Army, I think?
It's a bit of poetic license, I think. Whatever looks good.
Yeah.
So when you came to the role, were you a fan of... Obviously, everyone's aware of Star Wars to a degree, but were you a fan of Star Wars?
The original three, as a child, had all the figures, all that. And then I was probably, at college, going out to pubs and stuff when, the prequels came out. I kind of got back into it again with the sequels, but it was Rogue One that I then went in that direction, so I was, and Andor, that side of things, the Tony Gilroy stuff, so when this came along, I was up to date with the Andor stuff.
So coming into a show like Andor, it's not lightsabers, it's not Jedi flipping around, it's more grounded and boots on the ground sort of thing.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that aspect of it? Did you like that? Because you're an Imperial, so there's that whole military nitty-gritty. Do you enjoy that side of detailing that part of the story?
Yeah, it's just really dark, isn't it? That sequence is really dark, and it's hard to say I had a lot of fun doing it, but it's it was
as much as you can.
Yeah, as much as you can. I kind of enjoy the make believe of it, if you know what I mean. It's kind of easy to play out. You know. It made it easier.
And now, as a consequence of doing that, you get the nice, and this room right now is a whole lot nicer than where you were for that, because the whole import of what that was telling, the story, that everything that kicks off. You know, are you pleased? I'm assuming you're pleased to be a part of Star Wars, that you can go out and just chat to folks and rabbit to folks like me about what you did.
Yeah, totally. It's a very friendly community. I suppose this weekend will always be something for me,
totally.
Because there'll be people that want to celebrate it, talk about it. And that's really cool.
The weird thing is, you'll do shows for years, and you'll be at a show in 10 years' time, and somebody will go, "I met you for the first time in Blackburn when they were digging the pitch up."
Digging the pitch up.
Looking for all the goals they missed. That's what they're doing. So what else you got coming up?
I'm going to make a film in Ireland. In a few weeks, and then I'm returning to a series I did last year, later in the year. So different stuff, very different from this.
Do you like that as an actor, to vary it up, change it up, to be doing lots of different things?
I think I do enjoy playing these bigger characters, rather than being emotional in a kitchen.
Sure.
This is fun. Especially when you're in that big set in Pinewood. It's all been built around you.
Insane.
There's hundreds of actors.
Yeah.
You see the stormtroopers advancing. It's kind of, It's really fun.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah, really exciting.
Brilliant. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, not at all.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
For everything in one location, daily news, reviews, interviews, podcasts, video, and social media feeds, bookmark FanthaTracks.com for Star Wars news 24/7, 365.
I'm here with Neil Livesey from Star Wars Fan Fun Day. Neil, welcome to the show. I've wanted to have you on for a while to talk about the show anyway, but we've got this wonderful news of this charity fundraising total that's now been announced. So could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we went up to the hospice to take the money raised at this year's show, and our contact up there, Jackie, the fundraiser, hit us with the incredible news that what we raised this year has taken us through the £100,000 barrier since we started in 2008.
You don't keep a track of that sort of figure, I'm guessing. You're just in the moment, just doing it as you go.
You're right, we don't keep a track of it. Paul and I are notoriously bad at keeping data. It's something we are working on improving, like trying to get week by week ticket sales so we can compare how we're doing and things like that. But we thought, and I don't know if you recall, but Paul said at the dinner, we thought it was about 75,000.
I do remember that, yeah.
But it's actually over 100,000. And that's just for the hospice. Now, on a couple of occasions, for example, after my heart attack, we split the money between the hospice and the British Heart Foundation. We've done some stuff for some of our own when people have needed help, and we've given money to that. We always raise around £400 or £500 for large Munsterlander rescue, because we have large Munsterlander dogs. So if you add all that in, we think it's probably over 120,000. But for the hospice, it's over 100,000.
That's amazing. What does that do to you when you realise that figure? Because like you say, Paul mentioned 70-odd thousand, which is tremendous. And then you find out they've kept a record of it, obviously. They've let you know that it's 100. How does that make you guys feel? It must be tremendous.
Yeah, we're so proud of what we've achieved over the years. And, we were lucky enough yesterday to be taken into the hospice, and we spoke to some staff and we spoke to some patients. We were privileged to be able to go into an art therapy session that was taking place and see some of that money in action.
And what instigated supporting this specific cause? What is it about East Lancashire Hospice that made you guys go, that's where we want to put our efforts and that's where we want the money to go?
Before I started the Star Wars Fan Fun Day, I used to be involved with another event called the Full Length and Fabulous Ball. The lady who did all the fundraising and, almost all of the organising was a lady called Siobhan. And I just hosted the thing and I ran the auction for them and things like that. And we raised thousands and thousands of pounds from that. I say we, again, it was mostly Siobhan. We were raising money back then for Rosemere cancer. Ironically, Siobhan got breast cancer and died. But while she was in her final stages of life, she was in the hospice. And they were incredible. And the work that they did and everything, and how they let all us visitors go up there and spend time with her and all that kind of thing. They just can't do enough for you. And I know this sounds like an odd thing, but if you've never been to a hospice, you should go and see one. Everybody thinks they're really depressing places, but they're not. They're the opposite, in fact. And so when Siobhan died, I thought, well, I want to do something for the hospice. I had just been to the very first Celebration Europe in London, and I thought I'd love to have something like this up north. We don't have anything like this. I know I can't do it on this scale, but I'll give it a go. And so the very first one was a place called the Clayton Park Conference Centre. We had one guest, Kenny Baker, because he lived local to me, so it didn't cost me a lot to get him there. And we swamped the place. And I knew immediately we needed a bigger place. So we moved to Burnley Football Club. I approached Blackburn, which is the club I support, and Burnley are our rivals. And at the time, there was another catering business who ran the hospitality. And the quote they gave me was astronomical. When I went to Burnley, different story. You know, what do we have to do to get this gig here? We used half of the room. And we upped the numbers and realised that wasn't big enough. So the following year, we opened the whole room up. And again, more and more people came. And I think it was at the fourth one. What we used to do is take the guests for dinner the night before the event. And we were in a Chinese restaurant. And my wife said to me, you know what? People would pay to have dinner with these people. And I said, well, that's a good idea. But it's adding, because at the time I was working. I hadn't retired yet. And I thought, but that's putting more effort into the thing and more organising and all that. But yeah, okay, let's give it a go. And then round about Celebration 6, I met Paul Dunn in Florida. And he expressed an interest to get involved. He was local to me. I didn't know that at the time. Literally a few streets away. And so he got involved, and I said, well, it's not a bad time to get involved because this is what we're thinking of doing. We're going to have this dinner the night before. And we've worked together ever since. And every year we try to add something to make it a little bit different than the one before.
It's worked so well. I mean, you know, we talk about it all the time on Fantha, what a great family-focused show it is, how welcome we always feel as a team. What do you think it is about Star Wars that engenders this generosity, let's call it, in terms of charity fundraising and stuff like that? Because all the garrisons and the costuming groups are always shaking a tin. It just seems very much part of the fabric of Star Wars fandom, certainly. But in your view, what is it about Star Wars that makes that work so well?
It's a fantastic question, that, and I don't really have a good answer to it. I mean, George Lucas himself said a lot of people have made a lot of money from Star Wars. And of course, he was meaning, you know, the people who produce the toys and books and, you know, whatever. But to the flip side of that, a lot of charities, as you say, have made a lot of money out of Star Wars because, as you rightly say, all the garrisons work for free, if you like, and take donations, which they then donate to various charities. I don't really know. I guess it's just that people are having such a good time that they're quite happy to donate some money to charity for those who are less fortunate than them.
Hi, this is Guy Henry, and you're listening to Fantha Tracks. Enjoy.
When I opened some of the buckets from the Star Wars Fan Fund Day, I couldn't believe that there were £20 notes in there. You know, when somebody gets a photograph with a stormtrooper or, you know, some other costume character, you expect a handful of change being put in or a couple of pound coins or something, but 20 quid. People are just so generous.
And with your show being such, as I've said, such a family focus, such a friendly, warm show, and this is going to be another weird question, but it's always been this way. We've never experienced a show, either Blackburn or Burnley, where we've come away going, oh, that felt a little bit off, or that wasn't so good. We always come away buzzing. It makes us look forward to the next show. So what do you think it is that you guys do that just makes this such a great warm atmosphere? Because we wouldn't say it if it wasn't such a thing, but it's such a core part of the whole event.
It's very kind of you to say that. I think it's because it's Star Wars fans putting a show on for Star Wars fans. So we're not doing it for financial gain. We're doing it because we love doing it and we want to put a good show on for people to enjoy. And I think Paul and I are a good mix. Paul, through his business Elite Signatures, understands what autograph collectors want. And so some of the guests that we have are, you know, strictly for autograph collectors. But I will stop him when he's running away with booking all these obscure, aliens and even people behind the scenes people and all that, and say, hang on, that's great for the graphers, but the average family who are casual Star Wars watchers don't know who that person is. We need a recognisable character, Admiral Akbar, Naya, Num, whoever it may be, BB-8. And so, we focus on all the elements of the fandom, the families that are casual Star Wars fans, the hardcore graphers, and the toy collectors, because that's what I am. So we try to get, some of the best vendors there selling some, really nice goods for people to buy. And I think it's often misquoted as the Star Wars Family Fun Day. And at first that annoyed me, but it's actually a compliment.
It's a nice typo to have connected with you because, like you say, there's a lot worse things, but it actually describes very nicely what you do. You've had some tremendous guests over the years. Has there ever been a guest that's come, you've been like, I didn't expect this guy or gal to be so much fun or so engaged or tell us such a good story? Is there somebody that surprised you?
Maybe not surprised me, but there's been a lot of guests who I've really, really enjoyed spending time with. I love some of the voice actors because they often do other things, the comedians or whatever, or they do lots of other voices. So they've got a lot of great stories to tell. I spent a lot of time, not just at the Star Wars Fan Fun Day, but at other events. I think you and I were chatting about the one on the Wirral.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time with Dave Prowse, and I always enjoyed listening to his stories. I really, really enjoyed, because we had a bit of time before the show this year, with Jim Swearingen. I'm a toy collector, so I'm absolutely fascinated and intrigued when he started telling his stories. If you were to say to me which was your favourite, I don't think I could pick one. In the whole time that we've been doing it, and we have somewhere between 12 and 15 guests at each show, there's been less than a handful that have been difficult.
That's not a bad ratio, is it, really?
No, not really.
And is there a white whale? Is there somebody, don't tell me who it is, but is there somebody you're thinking achievable? I don't think George is doing shows these days, but is there somebody you think, I'd love to get them? It's never quite dropped in place, but fingers crossed for 27 or 28, we might be able to land them. Is there somebody in your sort of view that you'd like to get?
Yeah, I don't mind telling you it is. It's Warwick. It's just never worked out. He does lots of shows, as you know, and I've met him at a couple of shows and we've talked to him. As you know, a couple of years back, he agreed and, we had contracts signed and all that. And then he had to go off and do pickups for Willow, I think it was, and he had to cancel. So he would be top of my list. And I know that Paul's got a couple in mind that he would love to get to the show.
Well, we're going to be talking about it all the way through the year because we always do. It's a common touch point, reference point for everything we do. And we'll definitely be there for 27 because how can we not be there for the 50th? But Neil, thanks so much for coming on and explaining about everything that's going on. And we'll definitely speak to you soon.
Thank you, Mark.
Email radio@fanthatracks.com. Head to links.fanthatracks.com for links to our social media feeds, Fantha Tracks TV and Fantha Tracks Radio. Thanks to James Semple for the Fantha Tracks intro, Blues Harvest for our Making Tracks opening music, and Mark Daniel and Vanessa Marshall for our voiceovers. New episodes drop Tuesdays and Fridays at 7 o'clock UK time. Our weekly news show, Good Morning Tatooine, goes live Sundays at 9 o'clock UK time on Facebook and YouTube. And remember, Fantha Tracks is absolutely free, so it costs nothing to stay updated on all the latest Star Wars news.
Coming up next on Fantha Tracks Radio, it's Making Tracks.